I think it's so important that we give students the time to find out what they're really passionate about and not pushing them into something that is going to end up ruining the next couple years and ruining their whole university experience.
G'day and welcome to the Choosing Your Uni podcast. I'm your host, Rob Malicki, coming to you today from Ngunnawal country in Canberra. Such a beautiful day here. For those of you who are listening along who aren't watching the video, it's a sparkling Canberra day. And those people who come from Canberra, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Beautiful blue sky. This morning was crisp, but now it's warm. It's just at the beginning of the springtime, so all of the trees are starting to bud. The flowers are out. The people are out. I'm at the University of Canberra. And my guests today are Gabbi and Lina, who are students, or recent graduate, in the case of Lina, from the University of Canberra. Guys, welcome to the Choosing Your Uni podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Lina, we might start with you. You have an interesting backstory.
I do.
Grew up in Thailand and decided to come to Canberra and to UC. Talk me through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Thailand. I went to an international school and I chose Canberra. I chose UC. I really found UC's degrees interesting. Their double degrees were very interesting. They offered a wide range of study options. I ended up going to the Bachelor of Communications and Media, specialising in corporate and public communication, which I found very different. I had never heard of that term before. I'd heard of journalism, public affairs, public relations, but this was something completely different, and I thought I might as well just give it a go. I'm one of those first years that had no idea what they wanted to study, but here I am, have completed it and graduating in a couple of weeks. Absolutely enjoyed my ride here. The degree is incredibly hands-on. I really appreciated that all my lecturers and tutors were from the field that I wanted to go into, and they were genuinely passionate about it, which I think really made my experience here what it is. It sucks having a teacher who just is not into what they're teaching, but I was lucky enough to have course conveners who were so incredibly passionate and pushed us into what we wanted to do. Shout out to Prue, my course convener, who has absolutely shaped my degree here at UC. And I am actually thinking of going into the Master of International Development here at UC starting in February. Again, absolutely shaped my experience here.
Two excellent degree programs. What made you choose Canberra? So not just specifically UC, but Canberra. I mean, if you're studying in an international school, you're overseas, and you can literally choose anywhere in Australia, why here?
Canberra's a mix between city and, I guess, country. I guess that's why it's called the bush capital. I think, a few people will definitely disagree with me about that kind of country part, but coming from a big city, this provided a bit of a breather. I came during COVID, so this, I think, was a great place to settle. It's open, it's breezy, there are trees everywhere. It's just I think for me, the absolute perfect mix of a bustling city and just a quiet, peaceful place. So I really, really love Canberra. I definitely found it difficult to adjust to the cold if you're not from anywhere. You're from kind of the tropics. But now I love winters. I love kind of waking up and feeling that kind of fresh, crisp, cold air. But love Canberra. And I think that kind of nature is really what brought me.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to unpacking some content around your degree, because obviously communications is an awesome strength here at the university, extremely well known for that. And also talk about study abroad, which is where you're currently working at the university as you wait for your degree to be handed to you. But maybe we'll pass across to Gabbi. Gabbi, tell me a little bit about your journey to UC.
My journey, I would say, it started in 2022, was when I graduated. In terms of applying to UC, I actually wanted to go to Canberra, so I was dead set on going to Canberra. I grew up in a small town called Shumit, so that's around the Snowy Valley regions. And the reason I wanted Canberra was due to the location. It was like, compared to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, all that, the city was not too far from my hometown, so that I could take a day's trip away. And then from there, I worked on, from the available universities, which one did I want to do? And when I was in high school, I was going through all the open days, checking them out. And when I went to the UC open day, looking around the campus and the design faculties there, I was I fell in love, and I knew, I want to do the degrees here at UC. And I actually did the early offer back when I was in year 11 and got the offer around year 12, and I think that was a great like pathway for me because it didn't put as much pressure on me as compared to doing like the HSC, which is like the biggest pressure for a lot of students, is like trying to get that ATAR to get to their ideal university. But the University of Canberra had so many different pathways to choose from. So when I did the early entry program around year 11, it just based it off of my grades from there. And I was able to get an offer, I think it was around August. So a few months before I had to sit down for the HSC. And I think that just put like a little relief to me because I was like, okay, now I got the university I want. I'll just do what I can for the HSC and get a good mark. But I didn't have like that looming dread in my future, like, oh no, will I get in, will I not?
This is one of the things I absolutely love about universities. You know, people often think that, it's just an ATAR, that's my only option in. But, you know, the early offer is a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, mature age entry, and then all the other pathways that are available, whether it's through one of the college programs or starting with vocational education and then, you know, doing a diploma and then articulating in. These are all such great ways to start your uni experience where there's a lot less pressure on you.
Basically, the early entry programs, they are really a good opportunity. So it's worth a shot to try it. Even if you don't think you're going to make it, I think it's great if people just put their, foot in and just apply to as many different pathways as they can to that desired university they want. Because the chances are you might get in, and that will just put all the pressure of like sitting down for that external exams at the end of the year and put a little bit of like more relief to you, less pressure to do as well, because you already have other opportunities to get to the university. It's not the be-all, end-all to like get that ideal ATAR, as many people say.
Yeah, it's very wise. We have a whole episode of the podcast that I recorded with Peter Harris, who is the Director of Future Students at UTS College. And in that episode, we dive into all of the different sorts of pathway options that are available to students. So if you haven't yet heard that episode, scroll back through your feed, search for Pathways to University, and you will find it. So great to hear the really good options here available at UC. Gabbi, since you've got the microphone, let's unpack design.
Yeah.
It's also a really good strength area for the uni.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I finished dinner with a friend and I was walking through the centre of Canberra and I stumbled across the little pop-up space right in the heart of Canberra for the Faculty of Art and Design, which is down there. So it was top of mind when I was thinking about it. Tell me a little bit more about your degree and what you've enjoyed most so far about studying design.
So the thing about my degree, the Bachelor of Design, is it's actually the broad discipline of like all the different design degrees here. And the good thing about that is for someone who was uncertain like me, who didn't know exactly what she wanted to major in, the Bachelor of Design actually gave me a chance to explore the different units within that. So for my first semester, I actually had dabbled a little into like interaction design and visual techniques. And so I was able to learn skills that I never thought like I could ever do. I had no knowledge about working with computers and coding prior to this degree, but...
Can I jump in there? Are you arty?
I would
You are
say
a bit
so.
arty, yep.
That's why I chose this degree. I'm more into like the graphic design style of it, but I wanted to dabble a little in everything because I wasn't really 100% set on it yet. So that's why I chose this degree.
Can I just ask a follow-up there? For people, do you have to be arty?
I would say no, because when I entered this degree, I had no knowledge, or very little knowledge about Adobe software. Because prior to this, I would just do things hand-drawn, then do them on like little art programs. But my experience with Adobe was pretty amateur, I would say. But that doesn't matter because once you enter into this degree, especially in your tutorials, that's where it really shines, is during the tutorials, they would walk us through it, how to use the program, give us the basics. They also offered a lot of like resources. If you're a student, you get access to all the LinkedIn like tutorials on how that goes more in depth into it. And it's all free because you're the student. And that really helped me like actually gain my experience with this. So now I have a bit more knowledge on working with Photoshop and design, Illustrator, compared to how I was at the beginning of the year. But even if you are not, let's say, creative, like you're not 100% like artsy, as people would say, it doesn't matter. As long as you got like the passion to want to do this work, like, and willing to learn and develop your knowledge, I think anyone can do it.
That's such valuable advice, isn't it? I mean, you really do find your place at university in your level. And I think in a degree like design, you're going to have people who are very analytical and you're going to have people that are extremely creative and everybody on the spectrum somewhere in between. And it's also true when you get out in the working world is that all of those sort of skill sets and preferences have a place in the workplace somewhere.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, it's a fascinating degree. Actually, maybe we pass to Lina. So just, you mentioned as well, you weren't 100% sure what you wanted to do coming out of school and going into uni. Was there a moment during your degree where it suddenly clicked and you went, oh yeah, this is my thing?
Yeah, I think I trialed and errored a lot of my kind of units in my first year. I never followed my study plan.
Okay, pause, sidebar. Before we get back to you not following your study plan, for those who have no idea, what is a study plan?
A study plan is kind of this standard list of units that students take to complete a specific degree. Universities make it so students know what they should study and they don't stress too much about what to enroll in every semester. But in my case, I just looked at the names of different units and thought, I should try that. If I didn't like it, I would just unenroll before census date.
Sorry, pause. And census date? What's a census date?
Census date is the last day that you can unenroll from a unit without financial commitments, which, I always kept in mind when trialing and airing all my different units. But I think I'll shout out again to Prue, my course convener, because I enrolled in a unit called, I think, Introduction to Corporate and Public Communication, one of those 101 units. And I think in her first tutorial, she mentioned all the different avenues employment-wise for the degree, which I hadn't even thought of. I only thought, you could write memos with this degree, you could go be a journalist. But she provided background on bases that she worked in and companies that she had worked for and what other alumni in the degree did. And I realized that there was so much scope within the degree and I didn't need to just stick with writing. Comms and media isn't just, writing essays. And I think that's when I realized that I had more options than I thought I did. And that freed me up to be more creative with what I wanted to do, which is ultimately how I ended up where I am now. I think that really kind of solidified it for me that was my degree. And then I followed my study plan.
But yeah, the study plan actually helped me a lot because when I chose the double degree Bachelor of Business and Design, there are some units that I have to compulsory do in order to successfully graduate with both degrees by the end of my 4 years. So when I found out that they offered like personalized study plans, it really helped me a lot. And whenever there was like an error with it or like there was some confusion that I needed help with about meeting certain units, going to the student center actually helped a lot because they would walk me through it and like explain, okay, you'll need this unit, you'll need that unit. And I think that really helps for someone who might have who's really busy with life. So sometimes it's really hard to just sit down and actually plan out what you have to do in your degree before it's too late. So it was good to have that option because then I wouldn't down that line, the degree, I'm not going to be sitting there oh no, I'm missing all these units. But thanks to the study plan, I'm okay, I'm now sure what I need to meet and I won't have to stay an extra year because of it. But yeah, I think that's one of the greatest perks about it. It's just that organization to help you ensure you meet all the units.
Right, maybe let's transition for a moment and let's talk about some of the extracurricular options that are available to students here at UC. And Lina, you kind of mentioned that you really discovered what you wanted to do and you're now working in study abroad and exchange. And before we started recording, you were talking about an international study experience in Hong Kong.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Tell me more about Hong Kong, how you got there and how that all fit into your degree program.
Yeah, so I went on exchange earlier this year for a full semester. That's 6 months to Hong Kong Baptist University. And that was my last semester in my degree as well. So a great way to end the degree with a bang. But it was a hard road to get there. Often the advice that we give is students allocate their electives and do it in their second or third year. However, in my case, I really left it to the last minute and was encouraged to go on exchange, really utilize the opportunity funding available. So I thought, why not? And with the help of my faculty, I was able to find some matching units in Hong Kong and use my remaining elective to study Cantonese for a semester. Yeah, I really enjoyed my experience. It wasn't something that I thought a lot about, but when the opportunity came up, I took it and I'm so glad I did because I think it was just the greatest way to round off my degree. I got to study it in a completely new environment. Studying a new language is also, I think, so important. I speak Thai as my mother tongue, so being able to pick up a third language was amazing. It gave me a whole new kind of way to figure out languages and kind of relearn how to say words with my tongue, kind of relearn how to map languages. And I was lucky enough to receive an NCP grant for Hong Kong as well, which I could not have gone without it. Yeah.
Break that down. What is an NCP grant?
Great question. So NCP stands for the New Colombo Plan, nice. Which is an initiative by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade to encourage Australian students to study overseas in the Indo-Pacific region specifically. It provides funding, it provides case management and support while students are overseas. There are various streams to the program. The mobility stream, which is what I got, so I got a grant. There is the scholarship stream for students going overseas as scholars. And there are other streams as well. But it is incredible opportunities that I definitely try to encourage other students to do now as an alumni. But it just provides so much support. It gives you an opportunity to learn your degree in a whole new environment, in a new scope, with new lenses. And it also allows you to meet other students. So meeting other alumni from not only your university, but other universities and building that network, which is exactly what DFAT wants you to do, like you would know.
How much is it worth? How much did you get?
I got $7,000.
$7,000?
Yeah.
So let me just you got $7,000 to go and study overseas. I mean, it's utterly extraordinary, isn't it? What an opportunity.
It was incredible. I got to travel to other countries. I went to Vietnam twice, Laos. I went to Macau. I went to China. I went to Taiwan. I went to Thailand. I got to do incredible amounts of traveling, meet incredible people that I now call lifelong friends. I still don't have the words to describe how great this opportunity was. And I've been back for a couple months now already. So maybe if you check in with me in a year's time or 5 years' time, I'd better articulate how amazing this opportunity was.
They do say, actually, it takes about 12 months for it really to consolidate and for you to look back and say, wow, like this is kind of what my overarching feeling of that experience. Perhaps for those people who haven't been to Hong Kong, and if they're listening along, paint a picture for me about what it's like to be standing on one of those bustling street corners in the middle of, one of those shopping areas in Hong Kong.
Wow, it is. Bustling is the right word. The hustle and bustle in Hong Kong is just crazy. People are on the move. People are just ready to go. They're roaring for life. And the public transport is amazing. There are people everywhere and there are cars everywhere. But luckily for me, my university was on the Kowloon side of Hong Kong. There was so much greenery. It is a big city, but like Canberra, there is so much greenery. The air is fresh out there. The people are lovely. And if you pick up the local language, you get to really integrate more. The people are so excited to talk to you and they get so keen when they know that you're trying to communicate to them in their local language. It's an incredible country, one that never crossed my radar before until an exchange opportunity was brought up to me. But I'm so glad I got to explore Hong Kong and see that part of the world.
It's incredible, isn't it? Because it's this unbelievable blend of hi-fi and lo-fi. So the most high-tech of high-tech and the most, analog, if you like, run-down little, dumpling joints, all mixed together. People everywhere. But then also that blend of, as you say, these wonderful outdoor green mountainous areas where there's not a soul around, sitting right next to the busiest metropolis pretty much in the world, and you can really find your place there.
Absolutely. It's amazing. Just, a couple minutes away on the MTR, which is the train system in Hong Kong, you could get to the beach or to the mountains or to the city for some shopping.
Or Disneyland.
I also went to Disneyland. That was my first Disneyland experience. Amazing. Yeah.
G'day, it's Rob here. Hey, are you a parent or a carer of a student that's thinking of going to uni in the years ahead? Did you know that Choosing Your Uni has a whole bunch of resources that are just for people like you? And you can find those at parents.choosingyouruni.com. You're going to find things like links to our Facebook community, downloadable worksheets, and heaps of advice by parents for parents. It's all the sort of stuff that you need to help guide your student on their journey to uni and beyond. Check it out now, parents.choosingyouruni.com.
Gabbi, maybe coming across to you, so we just had a good little chat about study abroad, or learning abroad, so good opportunity. And of course, it's not just a semester exchange that's available, but students have an opportunity to do study tours and other sorts of international study experiences. But Gabbi, what sort of stuff are you involved in outside of class? Could be anything. Obviously, you're a student ambassador now, which is great.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it is my first year, so still settling down. I think I only moved here like back in February, but
Okay, let's jump in on that. What's it like when you first touched down here in Canberra?
Okay, so compared to other people, when they come from a small town like me, the first thing in their mind is like they want a world away from that. They're like, I want to choose the busiest cities and all that, and that's where all my friends had gone. But for me, I was the opposite. I was like, I want to choose a place that's like a right balance of like that city life for the new experience, but also gave me a sense of like, okay, quiet and peacefulness, and that's why I chose Canberra. So when I went to Canberra, it is considered, as Lina said before, the quiet city, the bush capital. And like if you look around the campus, there's a lot of like greenery, and it's really nice, and it kind of gave me a sense of back like in my hometown, because there was like a lot of nature and it was peaceful, and the campus is that great balance between nature and like obviously architecture, buildings.
Tell me about the vibe. We're sitting down here in there's this like sunken area off the main walkway.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of sitting down. There's Mizuna's Cafe, which has been here since forever. Great food, great coffee. This feels like a kind of central chill place. But tell me about the vibe here on campus.
I would say the vibe is like really nice. Like when you come here and if you talk to someone, it feels like it's like that sense of like you know everyone because of the size of the campus. Like the amount of people I've run into who know someone I also know, it's like our world are connected. And as you said before, like the social hubs, social areas, they're all pretty much integrated just here on this main campus around all the main building, like surrounding the main concourse. So it's kind of easy to just like go socialize after, I don't know, going to classes, or maybe you're studying at the library and you just want to, take a quick break to eat, or maybe take a walk down the Belconnen Walk. It's a really nice vibe. Like, I think the socializing aspect, it's nice because everyone is so friendly. Everyone knows each other. It doesn't feel as disconnected if I was like, I don't know, at a bigger university where everyone is like so busy and there's so many people that it's kind of hard to feel connected to university, unlike here at University of Canberra.
That's certainly true. As you're talking, I'm thinking about some of the huge metropolitan universities where you're right in the heart of the city, which is obviously great for like some people that absolutely gels with them, but I guess there are just so many people around all the time. I really love what you're talking about that connection. It's one degree of separation, isn't it? It's like, I know somebody that you know.
Yes, that
almost makes it a bit easier just to walk up and be like, okay, so who do we know in common?
Yeah. Like the amount of people I've run into, like because I actually live on campus. I used to lodge behind the library. So there are days where I'm like just coming out of my campus, going to classes, or talking to someone I just recently befriended. Turns out they already know someone I met before. Funny story is I actually have a family friend who came from the same town, and I met their best friend at like a commencement ball that happened that UC Lodge holds. Oh, sidetrack too. I would say I really love like the living on campus. Like I think that's a great opportunity too for people who don't live in Canberra to take up one, because the on-campus accommodation really helped me integrate myself into the city and get used to the city life. And they also have a lot of fun activities to do throughout the year. So it's not just like, accommodation. You got a lot of opportunities to socialize. Like in the case of Uni Lodge, they hold events every now and again at the common rooms, which is like basically a shared space for everyone, all the residents in the building. Like free pizza. I think tonight they're actually having free pasta, which I'm gonna take up on.
Pause. Free food?
Yes, free food.
Awesome.
I know, I love free food. They even have sometimes they actually have times where they give away free food at the lodges. But okay.
I just said free food and I was like, I want to go there.
But yeah, with the lodges, I think it's a great opportunity also when you're living in the university and getting used to the city if you're not from Canberra, because it gives you an opportunity to connect with this university, the students, and get used to the city. When they offer all these opportunities, they sometimes also do tours around the city. So for someone who didn't grow up here, they did hold tours around, I think, the War Memorial. Although I didn't get to go, my friend who also was from another city went. They sometimes went to the museums here, and I think that's a great way to also be able to explore the city offered by the the accommodation and the lodges.
Lina, what surprised you about UC when you started here? And it could be surprised in in a way that, you'd heard something about what it was going to be like and that turned out to not be true, or something where you're just like, holy smokes, I didn't expect that at all?
Gabby touched on this as well, but the community at UC really surprised me. I don't know many people in Canberra, and I also started uni during COVID, so 100% online. I knew nobody here, but all the events that they would usually run during orientation week, they also ran online. So speed friending online was a very interesting experience. But I think although it was online, the UC community was still there. And I really, really appreciated that as someone who's, didn't know many people in Australia or in Canberra, had only visited Canberra a couple of times. And the community that I was a part of during that kind of online experience, that COVID experience of learning, translated over to when everything came back onto campus as well. And I just found it really nice to feel like I was part of something. And I also was able to start working on campus as a student, which really helped me feel a lot more part of UC than I had when I first started. So I think being part of a community at university was what surprised me the most. I thought university would just be something I had to go to Monday to Friday, attend classes, not know many people, go home, live life. But it turned into, a massive community work. I think that's what really surprised me about UC.
Okay, I've got questions here. And this is maybe for both of you. Since you've got the microphone, Lina, I'll start with you. Online versus in person. Now, some universities have kept a big component of online, so a lot of stuff has stayed online since COVID. And then you have other institutions that are completely the opposite and they're back in person. What's it like in your particular degree? So once again, it was communications side programs. What's it been like for you online versus in person?
I've done a mix of both throughout my degree, but I appreciate both. Sometimes you just cannot come to campus every day, and that's completely understandable. And I really appreciate that, at least in my degree, I have the option for both. I could do 2 classes on campus, 2 classes online a semester. That freed up my time to do other things and also allowed me to just have a bit of a study-life balance. Really enjoyed it. The tutors were still very engaged online and in person. And like many students, I had my cameras off sometimes because I was shy or I just wasn't feeling it that day. And they were still engaged. They still tried to, involve the students in the learning like they would in the classroom. So I really, really appreciated that. And I enjoyed both. Sometimes, you just cannot come onto campus. And as someone who works full-time while they study, that online option was crucial in making sure that I could still complete my education while earning some money.
I'm really keen to come back to the working stuff. We'll do that in just a moment. But Gabby, how about for you in the design side programs?
So in terms for me, there's actually a mix of like both online and in person that they've actually integrated with both of my degrees. When it comes to like the Bachelor of Business, it's actually one of those degrees within the University of Canberra that you totally do fully online in person. For me, I am in like full-time on-campus student, but with my lectures, especially this semester, they've all integrated them online. That content, like the learning all the theory content, I could actually do it in my own time when I have, like she said, trying to balance between work and life, because I also have a job so that I can continue paying for everything. And it was a great, having it online is great because I can choose to do it when I am available and catch up on the content, and then still go to the tutorials in person, which is like where I'll be applying most of that content practically and doing my assessments. So it was a great balance between the two. Although I do like having the lectures in person sometimes too. Like some of them, they had an option of both in person and online. Like they'll upload the recorded lecture later, which was nice because sometimes you just need to force yourself to get out to stay motivated to do the content.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I think one of those things that people don't realise until they start uni is just how much it's self-directed.
Yeah.
You're really autonomous when it comes to getting yourself to classes, getting through those assessments and things like that. So if you're a little bit burnt out after high school, maybe take a little bit of a break. Gap year is totally fine.
I actually took a gap year. Yes.
Okay, we're on that. Let's jump in. Gap year. Gabby, tell me more.
After I applied to the University of Canberra, got that early entry, because I grew up in a small town, I obviously needed to move out and save the finances and all that. So I chose the gap year was a great option for me. With the University of Canberra, I was able to email them and ask for a deferral so that I could spend the year after graduating high school just working in my town, saving up money, enough money so that I can move out. And during that time, it actually gave me a break from studying for a while and I got to enjoy myself a little. I went to a lot of concerts, but I think it was, like you said, the burnout, which I think I basically experienced during my final years. It was a lot, but after like clearing my mind for a year and working, it really helped because once I moved to University of Canberra, while it takes a few weeks to get back into that studying habit, the pressure that I once had after finishing high school was like no longer there. I was able to start fresh with a new mind and just take my time and do the best I can with my units, which is what I'm trying to do. I'll try my best to get through them all.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's really valuable for people to hear about just how okay it is to say, I need a break after high school and I want to take some time out, whether that's to work, whether that's to travel, whether that's just to chill out. You know, if you really need that, it's such a good idea because so many people do get to uni. In fact, I think the national stat is something like 15% of people start university and end up dropping out, either because they haven't found the right thing or because it's just too much. And you can definitely reduce the risk of that by taking a bit of time for yourself to figure things out.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that was like also a good opportunity for me from really like think, okay, do I want to go? And like throughout the year, it really just like solidified the fact that yes, I do want to go to university. But at the same time, this break has helped me because like I said before, while I was doing this break, it kind of helped me readjust my mindset of what I want to be like once I begin studying for my tertiary education. I thought, okay, unlike high school, I'm going to change how I study and my mindset when it comes to completing my assessments, and I think that's helped so far. Not to brag or anything, but last semester got 7.0 GPA. Yay.
You're crushing it. You should brag about that. Own that. Yeah, crushing it. Lina, you've got a cheeky gleam in your eye. Did you also do a gap year?
I did do a gap year.
Awesome. Tell me.
I also felt that burnout after high school. For anyone who's ever done the IB program, the International Baccalaureate program, knows how tough those last 2 years are. And that gap year was very much necessary. But the point I wanted to add was how happy I am to see that we're moving to a place where 18-year-olds aren't forced to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives at the moment they leave high school. I think it's so important that we give students the time to find out what they're really passionate about and not pushing them into something that is going to end up ruining the next couple years and ruining their whole university experience. And I think universities are getting better and better at supporting students in, like you said, trialing and erroring and kind of taste testing the different things that they can do, which is why I really enjoyed having electives in my degree because it allowed me to see what else I could do, which, yeah, I just think it's so great to see now that students can take the time they need to figure out what they want to do, still not be pushed back. Taking a gap year does not push you back further than your peers who didn't take a gap year. You'll still end up at the same place. You're just going at your own pace, which is so important.
It's so true. I like the analogy that, you take a year at the start and then that helps get you oriented in the right direction and off you go. Whereas on the other side of that, people that aren't sure sometimes end up at uni, end up going and getting a job, and it's like 10 years later, they're suddenly like, oh shit, I hate this. Get me the hell out of here. And by then they've spent 10 years in something that they don't like. So, what's better in the long run, taking that time to set your bearing or, just kind of winging it through and maybe not finding your jive. So, yeah, great advice. What did you do for your gap year, Lina?
I just took the time to rest. Unfortunately, I didn't. I also graduated right before COVID hit. So I took that time to rest and I took that time to reevaluate the things that I wanted to do and what I enjoyed, which was much needed. Unfortunately, I don't have a great backpacking story or anything from my gap year, but it was it was a much needed rest, I think.
Definitely. Awesome. Okay. Love it. So if you're not sure what you want to do, just a little shout out to the Choosing Your Uni platform, choosingyouruni.com, and in their free platform, you can explore all sorts of different disciplines, degrees, careers, and we've got a whole bunch of tools in there to help you narrow down what disciplines, what careers and things might suit you best. So you can check that out now at choosingyouruni.com. Let's move on. Lina, since you got the microphone, we did say we wanted to talk about working on campus. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're now doing here working on campus and how you ended up in it?
Absolutely. I started as a student ambassador here at UC, did things like campus tours and working at events. And then I got the chance to work at the student centre as a casual, which allowed me to dive even deeper into the student life at UC. I got to help other students who weren't sure what they were doing or had questions about uni. The majority of student centre is run by students. The people you see on the desks are current students as well. I really like that kind of peer-to-peer assistance. Following from the student centre, I landed a full-time job in the University of Canberra's scholarships office, working at a full-time level. And then I transitioned into UC's global learning team. That is where I am now, doing student exchange, study abroad. And it's been a whirlwind studying and working at the same time. And all of my managers have been amazing in supporting me, making sure that I had enough time to study, I had enough time to have that work-life study balance that everyone is always talking about. But I don't think I could have gone through my degree without working and having something to do other than studying. And it gave me a different perspective to being on campus. I'm not just a student now, I'm a staff member. And that community that I was talking about before at UC just got bigger and it got more interconnected, and it was amazing. You make so many connections.
Other advantages to working on campus?
Yeah, you know so many people. You get closer to the academic staff. You know more about how the university actually functions. You understand why students have to do the certain things they do. You understand, that's why I had so many core units to do. That's why I have electives. That's why, teachers grade the way they do. You just get that kind of insight. You know people. Being on campus is just different. There's 100 advantages. It gives you something to do while you're here. Also, you're earning money while you're studying, which is, exactly.
So, Gabby, tell me your story.
So, with me, when I was a first year, I think I actually saw the student ambassador offer just last semester. There's actually this website called the UC Careers, which is where you can actually explore not only jobs on campus, but also just jobs around Canberra and other neighboring cities. And it's a great opportunity for students who are looking into finding either casual or part-time jobs or even internship, which is a great resource, I believe. And they actually do have an office here in person too, but I've just used the one online. And that was how I discovered student ambassadors. Little fun fact, when I went to the open day as a student, that was the day I also found out about student ambassadors, because the people who were giving me the campus tour, they made me really passionate. I was like, oh wow, that looks like a fun job. I wanted one day apply to that. So when I went to uni, started my semester and saw that they had an opening, I applied and went straight for it. Because when just watching in person, seeing them give insight about the university and how passionate they were, I was like, I want to do that. I want to give back to the community, basically. So I only started this semester so far. I'm still pretty new. I'm still a little baby student ambassador, but I have worked at the Careers Expo, which is basically where we talk to a bunch of prospective year 10 to year 11 and year 12 students about the University of Canberra. And I guess just seeing them in person and talking to them, I could relate to them. I was like, I was in their shoes just a couple years ago, and now here I am talking to them about why the University of Canberra is great. And I guess that passion really was nice. Feeling connected to the university I'm studying in was one of the things I'm enjoying so far about this job. And as Lina said, the money is also good. A lot of jobs in the University of Canberra, that is not just volunteer. There's also paid jobs too for people who need that extra income while studying. And with a lot of these jobs, they are casual too. So it's not like you are forced to work certain shifts. It's kind of as you are on the go, available, and you take it up, and that just allows you to balance between when you're available, studying and then work. And that's one of the perks about this job too that I like, is that ability to just choose when I want to do the shift whenever I'm available.
Universities are large organisations, and if you think about any large organisation, they need staff members constantly across every area of the organisation, from the gardening to the cafes to the academic faculties to the marketing side. All of these areas at some point or another need extra hands. And so for those people who are proactive, you're active and you're looking to try and do some work, just don't be afraid to reach out to almost any section of the institution that interests you. I ended up working in a biology lab and getting paid for it when I went through my undergraduate. Got paid super well. But also, as you guys were talking, made these professional contacts in an academic discipline, which as a simple undergraduate, I never would have had that opportunity. You know, I had so many students working in the library, working at the dock, you know, the back of the student union. There's literally work everywhere if you go looking for it. And it really just opens up so many extra possibilities on campus. So I really value the advice, guys. Gabbi, Lina, it's been amazing talking with you guys. Thank you for being so generous with your time, for joining me on the Choosing Your Uni podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
At Choosing Your Uni, our mission is to make finding your ideal institution and your degree fun, easy and stress-free. So if you're looking to save some time, to discover more and to get personalised advice for every step of your journey, check out choosingyouruni.com. Our theme music is composed by Pasha Shogi and his band Flow, and this episode has been researched and constructed on Gadigal land in Sydney. Until next time, have yourself an awesome day.